Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and I wanted to share with you the top 5 iPadOS 14 features that you may not know. And so the first one has to do with pointer options if you're using a trackpad with your iPad. So let me go ahead and connect the Magic Keyboard. Now once you have a trackpad connected to your iPad, go to Settings. Under Settings, scroll down to Accessibility. Under Accessibility, you'll see Pointer Control. Go to Pointer Control, and we now have double tap to drag. Click on this, and now we have without drag lock or with drag lock. If I turn it on with drag lock, it says double tap an item, then drag it without lifting your finger after the second tap. And so this is a nice feature. It is a little bit buggy, but maybe we'll double tap this one. We can drag it around, put it wherever we'd like, and then lift my finger here and click once. And we're done. So that's it. Again, double tap to drag, keep holding after the second tap, move it wherever you'd like, click again, it locks into place, and then swipe up and you're done. So it's a really simple way to use the trackpad that makes it much easier to use and more Mac-like. Now with iPadOS 14, the Apple Pencil gets some updates with Scribble, and I've shown that in another video. But if you miss writing on paper, taking notes, and need a little extra screen protection, this is where today's sponsor comes in, Paperlike. Now as you can see on the left, I have a Paperlike screen protector installed. So not only does it protect the screen, but it greatly reduces glare and fingerprints. I see far less fingerprints, and it's much easier to use in bright environments. Now the reason it's called Paperlike is it feels like paper when you're writing on it. It feels like it and sounds like it. So if I go into Notes, take a listen to this as I write. So it feels like paper and sounds like paper, but it's also friendly to the tip of the Apple Pencil, so it won't wear it down quickly. If you'd like to try it out for yourself, check out paperlike.com/zollotech3, and I'll link it in the description below. Now within iPadOS, there's also a feature that applies to iOS, and that has to do with privacy. So if we go into Settings, then we go to Privacy, then we go to Photos. Under Photos, maybe I'll select an app such as Twitter, and under Twitter you'll see that it says allow photos access to selected photos, all photos, or none. So no longer is it just all photos or none, now it's selected photos as well. So you can select an album, put photos into that album that you want it to specifically access. So if I go to selected photos, you'll see that I can select an album. Maybe I'll go into my favorites. Under my favorites, I have all of these specific photos. Maybe I'll select this one and this one and this one and this one, and that is the only 4 photos I want Twitter to have access to. Once that's selected, view selected, hit done, we're good to go, swipe it out of the way, and now Twitter can only see those selected photos. If you want it on all photos, just change it back. So it's a nice little security update if you want to keep things a little bit more private. Now speaking of photos, there's a new option in Photos. So if we go into Photos, and select a photo, make sure it's full screen, then swipe up for more information. You'll see that it recognizes my bobblehead of Bob Ross. You'll see that we now have Add Caption. Maybe we'll just type Bob Ross and hit Done. Now we can search that caption if we want to. So maybe we go over to our bar on the left. We'll search for Bob Ross. It's indexing, and once it's done, it will work. So you'll see it takes a while, but you'll be able to search for that. And it works on iOS 14 as well. Now there's some new privacy settings within Wi-Fi as well. So if we go to Wi-Fi, tap on your current Wi-Fi that you're connected to, and you've got the option for private mode under Wi-Fi address. So Wi-Fi address is your MAC address, or it's your hardware identifier to your wireless network. If you want to keep that private and hidden from everyone, turn on Use Private Address, and now that's private. I've seen this implemented on other devices as well, and so this will keep everything hidden and you won't be able to identify a specific device. This could make it a little bit more difficult when trying to track things down related to your device. Now Apple has redesigned Game Center in the iPad and iPhone. So if you go into your iPad App Store or iPhone App Store, tap on your name at the upper right or your account, scroll down a little bit and you'll see Game Center. Tap on Game Center. Now you'll see Game Center now has not only your name, but it has friends, people you've recently played with, friend suggestions. If you want to invite them, you can. Achievements by game, privacy policy, nearby players, and then you could sign out. So achievements by game, you can go into your games, anyone that you've played, maybe Cannibal, it's an old one, and you'll see there's some achievements there. So we can use this to view all of our achievements and everything else. And so this was added, it seems like after they updated iPad and iOS, it kind of showed up a little bit later. Now, something I showed with iOS 14 hidden features that you may not know is shortcuts. And I wanted to show this to you because I think it's pretty significant and it applies to the iPad as well. So if we go to shortcuts here, in shortcuts, we can create an automation, and under create personal automation, you can create one based on your battery level or charger. So for example, because the iPad doesn't seem to have battery health monitoring and those sorts of things, we can have a reminder to charge it when maybe we fall below 20%. So we just slide it down, falls below 20%. Next, add an action. We can add an alarm. We'll do create an alarm and create time. Immediately, we'll repeat never. So we'll have it make an alarm right away that creates an alarm and triggers the alarm right away when it falls below 20%. And then you can have it not ask before running. And if you hit 20%, you'll know that you need to charge it. Now, I don't necessarily recommend charging every time you fall below 20%. Sometimes I wait till 10%. Sometimes it's lower than that. Sometimes it's higher than that whenever I have a charger available. But there is a feature that I like to use with automation as well that allows me to change it based on when it's plugged in. So if I create a personal automation, scroll down again. This time I'm going to select charger. Tap on charger, and when the charger is connected, I want to run an automation or a shortcut. So we'll hit next, and then we'll add an action. Then I'm going to search for do not disturb. There we go. Tap on do not disturb, and we want do not disturb to turn on when it's plugged in. We'll hit next, and I don't want it to ask before running. I just want it to be automatic. We'll turn this off, don't ask, hit done, and then we'll go home. Now when I plug in the iPad, it should automatically turn on do not disturb. So it's plugged in, it ran the automation. Scroll down, do not disturb is now on. If I unplug it, it should stay on until I turn it off based on the automation I created. So it's super convenient. I think it's super helpful that these are built in. And of course, you can do all sorts of things based on the battery level. You can even turn on low power mode. So if you want to plug it in, have it turn on low power mode, or when the battery falls below 20%, if we go back, we can go here, falls below, let's do, and set low power mode. We can add low power mode on the iPad, although it's not an option elsewhere. So when the battery runs below 20%, turn it on low power mode. So turn it on, it runs, and it runs immediately, and now it's in low power mode, even though you can't see it. So it's nice that it's there. It's a nice little option to have. Now, finally, one thing I keep getting asked quite a bit is, will 4K video be coming to the iPad? And it looks like Apple is going to support the VP9 codec that Google is using. Now, I don't have 100% confirmation on this, but on the iPad, I don't currently show that it's working. It is working on iPhone, though. So this is my Apple Watch Series 4 review in HDR, and you'll see that the option's just not there. Now, on the iPhone, it is there. So if we go on the iPhone, you'll see I have 2160p HDR. So that means that the iPhone and iPad are capable of supporting it, but they don't yet support it. So hopefully they'll fully support 4K in the future, although you can't see 4K on these displays. So I would at least like a little bump to 1440p, for example. And of course, that HDR viewing is really welcome. So we'll see with future versions when they come out what we'll have, but it seems like Apple will support it if it can play the HDR footage. Those are the top 5 iPadOS features you may not know. Of course, all the hidden ones on iOS apply to iPadOS as well. Now, let me know what you think of Paperlike in the description below. I'll link them like I said before, and also I'll be keeping the screen protector on this iPad because I really like how matte it is, so I'll be using this one as well. So let me know what you think of them. Also, if you found any features you haven't seen anywhere else, please let me know in the comments below so we can not only check those out, but also help others out. If you'd like to get your hands on this wallpaper, of course, course, I'll link it in the description as I always do. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.